You have been told to heal. You have been told to improve, to become better, as if life made a mistake with you, as if the existence in its vast intelligence created you with a flaw that needs to be corrected. Listen to me carefully. I am not here to give you another method. I am not here to give you a new technique to polish your ego. I am here to wake you up from a very deep, a very ancient hypnosis. The obsession with healing is the real wound. It is how the mind keeps you busy. It is how the mind keeps you running in circles, chasing your own tail, always looking for the next cure, the next method, the next master, the next book. You think, if I can just fix this one part of me, my anger, my sadness, my past, then I will be whole. But I say to you, you do not need to be fixed. You only need to see that there was never anything wrong. The moment you realize this, truly realize this, not just intellectually, but deep in your guts, the whole illusion of healing collapses, and suddenly you are free. In this talk, I want to take you on a journey. I want to help you see that all your pain, all your guilt, all your self-doubt comes from one single illusion, the illusion that you are separate from life, that you are a project to be completed. If you have spent years trying to become whole, never realizing that wholeness is what you already are, then you have arrived at the right moment. This is not an accident. Existence has brought you here to hear this. If you are ready to drop the burden of becoming and simply rest in being, show your presence. Press the like button, not for the algorithm, but as a signal to the universe that you are ready to wake up. I know the struggle you have lived with. I know it intimately, always trying to be better, always trying to change, never feeling enough. You meditate, you journal, you heal, you read, you go to therapy, you attend workshops, and still you feel that something is missing. You think, maybe I am not trying hard enough, maybe I need to purify my chakras more, maybe I need to dig deeper into my childhood. And I tell you, that part of you that you are trying to fix is not the problem. It is the searcher itself that keeps you trapped. Society has taught you that improvement is virtue, that striving is growth, that to be content with yourself as you are is laziness. They have made you afraid of your own nature, so you keep chasing a future self that never arrives, a super you that is always just around the corner, just one more seminar away. But the truth is far simpler, and because it is simple, the mind misses it. The mind loves complexity. The mind loves problems. If there is no problem, the mind creates one. You were never meant to be fixed. You were only meant to be seen. The moment you see yourself as you are, without judgment, without the desire to change, the whole journey of becoming ends, and the dance of being begins. And so, in this time we share together, I will take you beyond the illusion of healing, beyond the trap of self-improvement, beyond the endless search for better. We will look together at why you feel broken, who told you so, and how this lie has shaped your entire life. We will see how your mind keeps you busy, chasing wholeness while hiding the fact that you already are it. I will show you how to dissolve guilt without effort, how to see pain without labeling it, and how to find peace not by reaching for it, but by resting in it. Perhaps by the end of this talk, you will realize that the most profound healing is to stop healing and start being. Here is something most people completely miss. You were never born feeling broken. You learned it. It was not in your blood. It was poured into your ear. It was whispered into you in ways so subtle that you did not even notice. From the moment you took your first breath, you were perfect. You were unself-conscious. You were whole. A child does not look in the mirror and think, my nose is too big, or my soul is not spiritual enough. A child simply is. But soon the world began its work. The mechanism of society started to grind you down. It started with small things. A word here, a comparison there, a disappointed glance from a mother, a strict command from a father. Look at your brother, he is so well behaved. Why can't you be like him? Don't cry. Big boys don't cry. Sit still, don't be so wild. Slowly, layer by layer, you began to feel that somehow you were not enough. You weren't tall enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, pure enough, spiritual enough. You see, the world doesn't function well when people feel whole. A whole human being cannot be manipulated. A whole human being cannot be controlled. A whole human being cannot be sold a dream of improvement because he is already living the dream. So they teach you to look at yourself through the eyes of others, to measure yourself against their ideas, to seek their approval as your reflection. You became a beggar, begging for validation. Am I good enough now? Do you love me now? The idea that something is wrong with you is not truth. It is hypnosis. It is a lie so ancient that it has become invisible. It is the very air you breathe. It comes wrapped in love from parents who tell you to be a good boy or good girl. They did not mean to harm you. They were only repeating what was done to them. They were victims of victims. It comes from teachers who grade you not for being yourself, but for fitting a pattern, for repeating like a parrot what is written in the books. If you are unique, you are punished. If you are obedient, you are rewarded. It comes from priests who say you must purify your soul to please a distant God. They say you are born in sin. What a condemnation to tell a fresh, innocent life that it is born in sin. They create the guilt and then they sell you the cure. They sell you the ritual, the prayer, the confession, and slowly, slowly you lose trust in your own being. You begin to live for their voices, their eyes, their rules. And by the time you grow up, you have completely forgotten your own taste, your own rhythm, your own fragrance. You become like a mirror covered in dust, reflecting nothing clearly, believing that the problem is with the mirror, when in truth, the dust is only in your eyes. This is the first delusion, the root of all human suffering. You think you are sick, so you look for medicine. You think you are lost, so you start searching for a way home. But the one who is searching is the very illusion that keeps you wandering. Look deeply. Have you ever truly seen a child who feels wrong for existing? No. A child runs, laughs, falls, cries, and forgets within seconds. There is no residue. There is no psychological baggage. The idea of wrongness is not inborn. It is learned. It is borrowed. You carry it like a heavy garment that doesn't belong to you. And you have been carrying it for so long that you think it is your skin. Society depends on this illusion. Every system, religion, education, even modern psychology, thrives on the belief that you are broken and must be repaired. The priests say you are sinners who must confess. The teachers say you are ignorant and must learn. The therapists say you are wounded and must heal. Everyone profits from your discontent. It is a perfect business, because as long as you believe something is missing, you will keep searching, you will keep buying, you will keep consuming, you will search for God, for love, for success, for self-improvement. And if you look at your life, you will see the search itself becomes the trap. You have been running in this circle for lifetimes, fixing, improving, evolving, without realizing that the one who is doing all the fixing is the real sickness. The ego loves to fix. The ego feels important when it has a problem to solve. If you simply accept yourself, the ego disappears. And the ego does not want to die. So it invents problems. It invents spiritual growth. The moment you stop trying to become something else, the illusion cracks. Suddenly you see it was never about perfection. It was about remembering. You were always whole, but you couldn't see it because your eyes were full of dust. Dust of comparison, dust of ambition, dust of guilt. Imagine a garden where every flower is trying to become a rose. It would be a madhouse. The lily feels ashamed of its pale color. I am not red enough, it weeps. The sunflower thinks it is too loud, too big. I should be delicate like the rose, it thinks. The lotus feels unworthy because it grows in the mud. I am dirty, it cries. This is humanity. You are all unique expressions of existence, but you have been taught to compare. You have been taught that there is only one standard of beauty, one standard of success, one standard of holiness. The lotus suffers because it is not the rose. It does not know that its fragrance, its depth, its beauty come from the very mud it is trying to escape. That is why I say, the pain you feel is not because something is wrong with you. It is because you have been trying to be someone else. You have been violating your own nature. You have been polishing the mirror of your being, cleaning it, purifying it, praying over it, not realizing the dust is not on the mirror. It is in your eyes. The one trying to purify is the impurity itself. The one trying to fix is the false self. And this is why healing in the way the world teaches it never truly ends. Have you noticed? You go to therapy for 10 years, you uncover one trauma and then another appears, you peel one layer of the onion and there is another layer and another. It is endless. Because if you were to suddenly wake up and see there is nothing wrong with you, the entire structure of your seeking would collapse. The mind is terrified of that collapse because without a problem, the mind has no purpose. Without something to fix, it doesn't know what to do. The mind thrives on conflict. It is a machine built for solving puzzles, and it has made you its eternal puzzle. Every time you try to fix one flaw, it invents another. Every time you think you have arrived, it moves the finish line. Okay, I have achieved financial freedom. Now I must achieve enlightenment. Okay, I have achieved silence in meditation. Now I must open my third eye. The moment you believe you are healed, it whispers, but maybe there is still some shadow left unhealed. Maybe you are spiritually bypassing. It is clever, it is very cunning. This mind, it has created an infinite treadmill called self-improvement. And you have been running on it, sweating sincerity and going nowhere. Now pause for a moment. If this resonates with you, if you can feel the exhaustion of this endless running, consider supporting this channel. We are here to break the treadmills. By hitting the join button, you become part of a family that values being over-becoming. Or perhaps check the description for our ebooks, which are designed not to give you more knowledge, but to help you unlearn the lies you have collected. But let us return to the treadmill. You were never sick, only hypnotized. You don't need more affirmations. You don't need more therapy. You don't need more effort. You need to wake up from the dream of fixing. That is the only healing there is. But I know the hypnosis runs deep. It is in your language. When you say, I am working on myself, who is working on whom? Are there two of you? One who is the worker and one who is the raw material? This duality is the schizophrenia of humanity. It is in your thoughts, in the very air you breathe. You can't simply tell yourself, I'm fine, because you have been taught for so long that peace must be earned, that you must pay a price for happiness. To see through this illusion is to unlearn everything you know about yourself. It is a death, the death of the personality you constructed to survive in a crazy world. It is to realize that even your suffering has been sacred because it pushed you toward awareness. It pushed you to this very moment, watching this video, hearing these words. When you see this, you stop fighting with yourself, you stop trying to become, and you begin to be. And from that being, a new life begins. Not a better one defined by society's standards, but a truer one. You start to laugh again, a belly laugh, irrational, without reason. You start to breathe again, you start to live again. Not as a project under repair, but as a mystery unfolding perfectly. You were never broken. You were only asleep, dreaming that you were incomplete. And now the dream begins to fade. Let us look deeper at how this illusion sustains itself. What I am about to say might sound strange, even shocking to your conditioned mind, but listen carefully. Put aside your logic for a moment and listen with your heart. The same mind that tells you you are wounded is the one pretending it can heal you. It is like a thief disguising himself as a policeman. He knocks at your door in the middle of the night. He says, "There is a thief in the neighborhood. I am here to protect you. I will catch him for you." You are grateful. You open the door. You let him in. You feed him. You give him the best room in the house. You trust him, but you don't realize he is the thief. As long as he is in the house, the theft will continue. And he will keep pretending to look for the thief. He will say, "Oh, the thief was just here. He escaped through the window. We must install better locks. We must buy more security cameras." The mind first creates the problem, then becomes the savior who claims to solve it. That is the grandest trick ever played. You suffer, and then you seek. You seek, and then you suffer again. It is an endless circle, a merry-go-round of misery. The more you try to escape the pain, the tighter you are bound to it, because the one who is trying to escape is the pain itself. The ego is clever. It never wants you to be free because your freedom is its death. So it creates 1,000 noble-sounding projects to keep you busy. I will meditate more. I will cleanse my karma. I will heal my inner child. I will forgive myself. And in all of this, the I hides untouched, disguised as the doer, disguised as the holy seeker. You move in circles, polishing the same illusion over and over, thinking progress is happening because effort feels meaningful. Society respects effort. If you are sweating, if you are struggling, people applaud you. Look how hard he is working on himself. But have you noticed? The more you try to perfect yourself, the more imperfection you discover. The more you chase healing, the more wounds you find. The ego feeds on your improvement. It thrives on your effort because effort means the ego survives. Effort implies a goal, a future, a gap between who you are and who you want to be. In that gap, the ego lives. Look at the entire world. Therapists, gurus, healers, psychologists, coaches. Each promises to fix what's wrong with you, to help you become whole. It is a giant industry. But can you not see the absurdity? How can someone else make you whole when wholeness is your nature? Can someone make you alive? You are already alive. They can only help you remove the obstacles you have placed in the way of your own aliveness. The real disease is the idea of being diseased. But the ego is addicted to being a patient. It loves the drama of healing. It loves the attention. It loves the story. I am a survivor. I have been through so much. It gives you an identity. If you drop your wounds, who are you? You are just a vast, empty sky. And that emptiness feels scary to the ego. Society supports it because a self-healing seeker is still a consumer. Now you are a consumer of spiritual products, but still a consumer. Healing becomes another form of shopping, only now you buy peace instead of pleasure. You buy mindfulness apps instead of clothes. The mind's game is subtle. It uses even the most sacred tools to reinforce its illusion. It can turn meditation into ambition. I meditated for 2 hours today. I am better than you. It can turn silence into ego. It can turn spirituality into vanity. You start competing to be more peaceful than others, more compassionate, more awakened, as if enlightenment were a trophy to hang on the wall. Look at my halo, is it not shinier than yours? You compare even your stillness. The ego loves this. It cannot exist without comparison, and so it keeps you trapped in the cycle of becoming healed, becoming good, becoming pure, becoming enlightened. But the truth is simple. The one who wants to become enlightened will never awaken, because that very desire is unconsciousness. That very desire is a rejection of the present moment. Awakening happens when you stop wanting it, when you are so exhausted from the search that you just drop, you collapse. And in that collapse, when the doer is gone, suddenly it is there. It was always there. Here is a story. Once there was a man who had blood on his hands. He was a good man, a moral man, but he had made a mistake, and now his hands were stained. He ran to the river, desperate to clean himself. He plunged his hands into the cool water and began to scrub. But as he scrubbed, the water turned red. Horrified, he scrubbed harder. "I must get this off. I must be clean," he screamed. But the more he scrubbed, the redder the water became. The more violent his effort, the more blood appeared. He did not realize that the blood was not coming from outside. It was flowing from his own wound. He had cut his own hands in his desperation. This is what the mind does. It tries to wash away its own blood with more blood. It tries to fix its own sickness with the same thinking that created it. You are anxious, so you try to force yourself to be calm. What happens? You become anxious about your anxiety. You add a second layer of tension. Now you have 2 problems instead of 1. You are angry, so you try to suppress it. You try to heal it with affirmations of love. But the anger is still there, boiling underneath. Now you are angry and you are a hypocrite. You have split yourself in 2. And the harder you scrub, the more you go to workshops, the more you force yourself into lotus posture, the more you try to be holy, the deeper the wound becomes. The first step toward freedom is to see the futility of the game. You must see it so clearly that the seeing itself stops the action. The mind cannot heal the mind. Can a thief catch himself? Can a shadow run away from itself? Only awareness can heal, and awareness is not an action. It is not something you do. It is a seeing. It is a stepping back. The moment you see the trick loses power. You don't have to fight the mind. You simply have to understand it. Fighting the mind is like wrestling with your shadow. Imagine you are standing in the sun and you see your dark shadow on the ground. You don't like it. It looks ugly to you. So you start to kick it. You start to punch it. You scream, "Go away." But the more you struggle, the more the shadow dances. It mimics your every move. You get exhausted, you sweat, you cry. but the shadow remains. What is the solution? It is so simple that the mind misses it. Just turn toward the light. The moment you turn toward the sun, the shadow falls behind you. It is still there, but it no longer matters. It no longer defines you. You have been told that growth means effort, that improvement means struggle. No pain, no gain, they say. This is the stupidity of the marketplace applied to the soul. In the spiritual dimension, the opposite is true. Real transformation happens not by doing, but by undoing. What if all that is needed is to stop interfering, to stop fixing, to stop reaching? You are like a pond that has become muddy from too much activity. Children have been playing in it. Animals have been drinking from it. The water is brown and cloudy. You want the water to be clear. So what do? You jump in and start pushing the water with your hands, trying to separate the mud from the crystal clear liquid. But the more you stir, the more cloudy it becomes. Your very effort to clarify it is the cause of the confusion. Sit still, sit on the bank, do nothing, wait, and slowly, slowly the mud settles. The dead leaves float to the edge, and clarity returns by itself. It was always there, hidden by the turbulence. Awareness is that stillness. It is the refusal to stir the water. The addiction to becoming is humanity's deepest unconsciousness. It is the disease of the modern age. Every child is born complete. A rose is a rose. It does not try to be a lotus. A dog is a dog. It does not try to be an eagle. Everything in nature is just being. But the human being, he is strange. From the moment you can think, you are told to become. Become good. Become successful. Become holy. Become somebody. Nobody tells you to simply be. Nobody says, you are enough as you are. Just celebrate your existence. And so you spend your entire life in the tension of becoming. Stretching, striving, suffering. You are like a rubber band, always pulled tight between where you are and where you think you should be. And you never arrive. You cannot arrive. Because the destination does not exist. There is nowhere to go. The road is the problem. The seeker is the sickness. Imagine a beggar who dreams every night that he is a king. In his dream, he lives in a golden palace. He commands armies. He has thousands of servants. But each morning, he wakes up on the hard street, cold and hungry. And what does he do? He begins searching for the palace he dreamed of. He walks for miles. He asks every stranger, have you seen my kingdom? Have you seen my crown? He prays to every god, please restore my throne. He travels to distant lands. He climbs mountains. He suffers. And by sunset, exhausted, he falls asleep again on the street. And that night, he dreams the same dream, that he is a king searching for himself. That is the story of man. You are dreaming that you are not what you are. You are dreaming that you have lost something, your soul, your peace, your God. And the moment you wake up, you realize the palace was never lost. It was inside you all along. You were the king dreaming he was a beggar. But the ego does not want you to wake up. The ego is the beggar. The ego survives on the search. The ego's addiction to becoming is endless. It doesn't matter if the goal is money, power, love, or enlightenment. The structure is the same. Please understand this. The businessman chasing his first $1 million and the monk chasing nirvana are not different. Their objects are different, but their madness is the same. Both are living in the future. Both are rejecting the present. Both are saying, I am not enough yet. The moment you achieve something, the ego finds another mountain to climb. It says, Now that you have success, seek peace. Now that you have peace, seek transcendence. It never ends. If you really see this game, you will laugh. It is hilarious. You are running on a wheel like a hamster, thinking you are traveling to the moon. The ego cannot live without becoming because becoming keeps it alive. It needs the future like the body needs air. The ego cannot exist in the present moment. In the now, there is no ego, there is only silence. So it keeps you chasing shadows and calling it growth. It keeps you attending seminars, buying crystals, learning yoga postures. And I am not against yoga, I am not against crystals. They are beautiful toys, but do not think they will save you. Nothing can save you because you are not drowning. You are standing on the shore, dreaming of the ocean. But awareness is different. Awareness doesn't chase, it watches. And here is the magic, the alchemy of transformation. What you watch without judgment begins to dissolve. This is the secret key. If you forget everything else I say, remember this: observation is liberation. When you observe your mind trying to fix itself, when you watch the ego playing its tricks, something miraculous happens. The observer becomes free. You see the game from a distance. You are no longer the player on the field, getting kicked and bruised. You are the spectator in the stands. And from that witnessing, the wound begins to close on its own, because the wound was never real. It was only your identification with the one who thought it was wounded. Darkness never fights light. Have you ever seen darkness fighting with a candle? I will not let you enter this room. No, the moment light appears, darkness is gone. It does not put up a fight. It simply ceases to exist. In the same way, awareness doesn't heal, it reveals. And revelation is the real healing. Seeing that there was never a problem to begin with. You don't have to remove the clouds to see the sky. You only have to look up. The sky was always there, behind the clouds. The clouds are temporary. The sky is eternal. Your problems, your anxieties, your neuroses, they are just clouds. You are the sky. So long as you believe you must be healed, you remain a patient. You identify as a sick person, and a sick person needs a doctor. You will spend your life visiting doctors of the soul, gurus, priests, therapists, always carrying the invisible prescription of self-improvement. Dr. Freud said this, Dr. Jung said that, Osho said this. Throw away the prescription, tear it up. The moment you see that the sickness was only a thought, the thought, something is wrong with me, you are instantly whole. It takes no time. It does not take 7 years of therapy. It can happen in a split second. It can happen right now. If you can simply drop the idea that you need to be different, you fall into reality, and reality is beautiful. Reality is perfect. You don't have to climb toward awareness. You only have to stop running from it. It is already here, waiting, watching, silent. And yet, I know the realization is not complete until you step beyond thought itself. The mind will try to turn even this into a concept. It will say, okay, I understand, I am the sky, I am perfect, but this is still a thought. This is still the mind chattering. You must go deeper into the vastness that has no questions, no methods, no goals, into the silence of being. That is where we go next, into the very center of the cyclone. Here is something that may surprise you. Awakening is not an achievement, it is a return. You are not climbing a mountain to reach the peak of enlightenment. You are falling back into what you already are. The whole journey is not about addition, it is about subtraction. You have been educated to add knowledge, add skills, add degrees, add money, add virtues. I must become more compassionate. I must become more loving. No, the spiritual path is the path of becoming less noise, less identity, less effort, less mask. You have spent your entire life trying to improve yourself, to fix yourself, to decorate yourself. You have built a beautiful cage and decorated it with gold and diamonds, but you have forgotten the bird inside. Being was always waiting quietly beneath all that doing. You don't find it because you are searching for it in the wrong direction. You are looking outward into more knowledge. If I read the Vedas, if I read the Bible, I will find it. Into more techniques. If I stand on my head for 2 hours, I will find it. Into more experiences. If I take this psychedelic, if I go to this ashram, I will find it. But being cannot be reached by movement. Being reveals itself in stillness, beneath the constant chatter of your mind, beneath the storm of thoughts, worries, ambitions, and desires. There is a silent space, vast, ancient, untouched. That silence has never been wounded. Think about this. When you were a child and someone shouted at you, you felt hurt, but who witnessed the hurt? The witness was not hurt. The witness simply saw the hurt. When you were heartbroken, when you were crying in your room, who was watching the tears? That watcher has never cried. That silence has never been sick. It has never been ashamed. It has never needed healing. If you can touch this silence, even for a single second, you will know what I mean, and you can touch it right now. Just stop. Stop the inner dialogue. Look at the space between two thoughts. One thought passes, another comes, but in between there is a gap, a tiny interval of silence. That gap is you. It was there when you were born. It was there in every joy and every sorrow, and it will remain after the body disappears. This is what I call your being. It is not something you must earn. You don't have to be a saint to have it. You don't have to be a vegetarian to have it. You don't have to be celibate to have it. It is what you already are. But you have forgotten because you have been so busy trying to become someone. You have built a mask, a personality, a story. I am a doctor. I am a mother. I am a failure. I am a success. I am a victim. You live inside that story as if it were you. You defend it. You fight for it. If someone attacks your story, you get angry. How dare you insult me? But they did not insult you. They insulted the mask. They insulted the idea you have of yourself, the story of who you are, what happened to you, what's wrong with you, what you must achieve. This story becomes the prison. You suffer not because of what you are, but because of who you think you are. The me you believe yourself to be is nothing but memory and imagination, a collection of thoughts floating in consciousness. And you have become attached to this collection, polishing it, protecting it, improving it, not realizing that you are polishing a shadow. The actor has forgotten that he is playing a role and believes the story is real. Imagine an actor on stage playing Hamlet. He is crying, he is suffering, he is contemplating suicide. To be or not to be, but deep down he knows he is not Hamlet. He knows that when the curtain falls, he will go home, have a nice dinner and sleep. But you have forgotten you are the actor. You think you are Hamlet. You think the tragedy is real. You think the blood is real. But what happens when the actor remembers? The tension disappears. The fear of death, failure, rejection, all vanish, because the actor knows it is only a play. The play continues. He does not stop acting. In fact, he acts better, because now he is relaxed. He is playful. There is freedom in it, laughter in it, love in it. Life becomes light. The mind is noise. Being is silence. The mind wants to fix. Being simply watches. The mind divides. Being unites. You have lived so long in the mind that silence feels strange to you, even frightening, because silence has no identity in it. In silence, you are not a doctor, you are not a mother, you are not a Christian, you are not a Hindu, you are just presence. The ego is terrified of this. If I am not my story, then who am I? It asks. And because of this fear, you rush back to the noise. You turn on the TV, you call a friend, you scroll through your phone. Anything to avoid the silence, anything to avoid meeting yourself. The mind says, do something, think something, be someone. But being whispers, just rest. That is why people are afraid of stillness. They mistake emptiness for nothingness. They think, if I become empty, I will cease to exist. But emptiness is not nothing. It is everything. It is pure potential. It is the canvas upon which the whole of life is painted. Without the empty canvas, there can be no painting. Without the empty sky, there can be no clouds. Without the silence, there can be no music. You are that emptiness. You are that capacity to hold the universe. Once a disciple came to me. He was very frustrated. He was a very serious seeker. He had traveled all over India, visited all the holy men. He said, Osho, I have meditated for years. I have fasted. I have renounced sex. I have donated all my money, but I cannot find God. I looked at him. He was tense. His eyes were burning with ambition, spiritual ambition, but still ambition. He was ready to grab God by the throat. I laughed and said, then stop searching. Sit quietly and God will find you. The disciple didn't understand. He was angry. I came here for a method. He said, give me a technique. Tell me what to do. He thought he must do something to meet the divine. He thought God was a reward for hard work. But I told him, God is not a medal. God is not a degree. God is the very ground you are standing on. You are running so fast that you are missing Him. He didn't listen. He went away. He went to the Himalayas. He sat in caves for another 10 years. He tortured his body. He forced his mind. But after years of exhaustion, one night he just gave up. He was totally defeated. He realized that all his efforts had failed. He had no energy left to search, no energy left to hope. So he just sat under a tree, not to meditate, not to pray, just sitting, because he had nowhere else to go. He dropped the seeker. He dropped the desire for God. He dropped the idea of enlightenment. And in that moment, when the desire evaporated, suddenly he felt it. The presence he had been chasing all along. It came rushing in from all sides. It was in the wind rustling the leaves. It was in the moonlight falling on his face. It was in his own breath. He started laughing. He laughed like a madman. That is how it happens. The moment you stop, life meets you. The moment you surrender the chase, grace enters. You have been chasing butterflies with a net, and the butterflies are faster than you. You are exhausted, sweaty, frustrated. Sit down, be still, become like a flower, and the butterfly will come and land on your shoulder. If this message is landing on your shoulder right now, if you feel the weight lifting, there are ways you can help us keep this sanctuary alive. A super thanks is a beautiful way to express gratitude if your heart feels moved. It is not a fee, it is a flow of energy. Or simply share this video with someone who is still running, still chasing, still suffering. Be the one who invites them to stop. When you rest in being, there is no need to control thoughts or feelings. This is another trap of the healing mindset. You think you must control your mind. I must not have bad thoughts. I must not have sexual thoughts. I must not have angry thoughts. Who is saying this? The mind itself. When you rest in being, thoughts rise and fall like waves in the ocean. You remain the ocean, vast, unmoved, watching. Sometimes there are storms, the surface is chaotic, there is anger, there is fear. Okay? Let the storm be there. The ocean does not say, I should not have a storm. The ocean accepts the storm. Deep down, miles below the surface, the ocean is always calm. No storm can disturb the depth. You are that depth, but you live on the surface. You identify with every wave. A wave of sadness comes, I am sad. A wave of joy comes, I am happy. A wave of anger comes, I am bad. You are jumping from wave to wave, getting seasick. Drop below the surface, sink into the witnessing. You don't have to suppress anger, desire, or sadness. This is what the old religions taught: suppression. Cut off your hand if it sins. Pluck out your eye. This is violence against yourself. I say, just see them, feel them, let them move through. Don't touch them. Don't hold them, don't name them. Watch with innocence, like a child watching a parade. The parade passes, the clowns pass, the elephants pass, the musicians pass. The child does not run after the elephants, he just watches. And as you watch, you will realize that the watcher is untouched by anything that passes. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness within which emotions come and go. This is the great discovery. This is the only miracle. You cannot lose what you are. You can only forget it. And remembering happens not by effort, but by relaxation. You can't force being to reveal itself. You can only stop standing in its way. It is like trying to see your reflection in water. The more you stir, the more you try to grab the image, the more it blurs. Sit quietly, let the water settle, and the reflection appears on its own. That reflection is your own face, pure, eternal, divine. Wholeness is not something that comes from effort or practice. It is your natural state when effort ceases. To rest in being is to heal without healing. You don't have to fix your mind to find peace. You only have to stop believing you are your mind. When you let go of the story, when you let go of the roles, when you let go of the search, what remains is you, raw and radiant, and that you has never been wounded. But remember, wholeness has no opposite. This is where the mind often gets confused. The mind thinks, if I am whole, I will never be sad again. If I am whole, I will never get angry again. If I am whole, I will always be smiling like an idiot. No, that is not wholeness. That is madness. That is plastic surgery of the soul. Wholeness means allowing everything to exist. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, clarity and confusion, life and death. To reject any part of yourself is to reject the whole. If you say, I only want the day, I do not want the night, you are rejecting half of existence. And how can you be whole if you reject half of reality? When you embrace even the parts you once called flaws, they begin to shine with their own beauty. The sky does not reject the storm, it contains it. The sky is vast enough to hold the blackest clouds, the fiercest lightning, and the loudest thunder. And yet, the sky is never damaged by the storm. Have you ever seen a scarred sky? Have you ever seen a sky that needs healing because a hurricane passed through it? No. The sky remains untouched. It allows the storm to dance and then it allows the storm to pass. You are the sky. The enlightened person is not one who has removed his storms. He is not a man who has no emotions, no tears, no pain. He is the one who no longer fears them. He is the one who no longer identifies with them. This is true freedom, not the end of pain, but the end of resistance to pain. When you stop trying to escape yourself, peace comes naturally. When you stop trying to control life, it begins to flow through you. You are not separate from existence, you are its expression. Being is not static, it is not like a rock. It is alive, dynamic, always transforming, but its essence never changes. It is the silence behind the sound. It is the space behind the movement. Now you have begun to see that being is complete. There is no goal left to chase, no self left to improve, no wound left to heal. But life doesn't end here. It begins here. Because when you know there is nothing wrong with you, you begin to overflow. And that overflowing is what I call love. Here is something you may not have noticed because you were too busy fixing yourself. The moment you stop trying to heal, love quietly enters. It has been waiting, always waiting, just outside the noise of your becoming. Love is not something you can manufacture. You cannot go to a factory and produce love. You cannot go to a school and learn love. You cannot practice love. Love is not a doing, it is a state of being. It is what remains when the effort to perfect yourself dissolves, when there is no race left to run, no wound left to mend, no better version of you left to chase. In that emptiness, love blooms naturally, like a flower that needs no gardener, no command, no reason to exist other than its own fragrance. But listen carefully, love cannot grow in a divided heart, and your heart has been divided for so long. Half of you is reaching outward, begging for someone to complete you. Please love me, please tell me I am worthy. And the other half of you is hiding inward, terrified of being seen as you are. If they see my darkness, they will leave me. This tension, this hiding and begging destroys the possibility of love. The more you chase love, the more you prove to yourself that you don't have it. The more you grasp at affection, validation, understanding, the more fragile you feel. Because deep down, if you have to beg for it, it is not yours. If you have to earn it, it can be taken away. The love the world sells you is conditional. It is a marketplace. It is a business deal. I will love you if you love me. I will be with you if you fulfill my needs. I will stay if you behave according to my expectations. That is not love. That is a bargain of wounds. That is fear wearing the mask of tenderness. It is two wounded beings trying to bandage each other's scars, mistaking pain for passion. You use the other person as a painkiller. You use the other person to fill the hole in your soul. And the moment one stops giving, the other starts bleeding again. Look at your relationships. Be honest. Are they not like this? Most relationships are just two beggars meeting on the street. One beggar opens his coat and shows his empty pocket. Please, give me some love. I am empty. The other beggar opens his coat and shows his empty pocket. I was hoping you would give me some love. I am also empty. Now, two beggars are angry at each other. You deceived me, they scream. I thought you were a king. I thought you had treasure to give. And the other says, no, I thought you were the queen. I thought you would save me. Two blind people holding hands, each thinking the other will lead them to the light. But how can someone who hasn't met themselves show you the way home? How can someone who feels broken fix your brokenness? You cannot share what you don't have. This is why love born from need always turns into dependency. It starts with longing, I cannot live without you, and ends with blame, you ruined my life. The more you depend, the more you demand. The more you demand, the more disappointed you become. The world calls this heartbreak. But I tell you, it is not heartbreak, it is ego break, it is existence reminding you, smashing you, shaking you to wake up, reminding you that you were never meant to find wholeness through another fragment. Two fragments do not make a whole. Love is not found between two halves trying to complete each other. It happens between two wholes overflowing into each other. When you are no longer trying to fix yourself, you stop trying to fix others. This is a great secret. Why do you nag your husband? Why do you try to change your wife? Why are you never satisfied with your children? Because you are not satisfied with yourself. You project your own desire for improvement onto them. You treat them as projects because you treat yourself as a project. But when you accept your own being, suddenly you accept them. You let them be. You give them the greatest gift anyone can give, the freedom to be themselves. That is when love appears, not as a desire, not as a hunger, but as an overflowing of awareness. You no longer fall in love, you rise in love. You don't chase someone to fill your emptiness, you share your fullness. Think of the difference. When you go to someone to get something, you are a beggar, you are small, you are afraid, you are always calculating. Did I get enough? Did I give too much? But when you go to someone to share, you are a king, you are an emperor, you are just giving because you have too much. The cloud is full of rain, it must shower. The flower is full of fragrance, it must release it to the winds. The ego's love is always a transaction. I give to get, but real love is freedom. It has no reason, it has no object, it has no goal. The sun doesn't shine because someone is watching. It doesn't say, oh look, a saint is walking by, let me shine on him, and oh look, a sinner is walking by, let me turn off my light. No, the sun shines. It shines on the sinner and the saint alike. It shines on the beautiful flower and the ugly weed alike. Why? Because shining is its nature. It cannot help it. The river doesn't flow to impress the ocean. It flows because that is what rivers do. And when you rest in being, love becomes like that. Effortless, spontaneous, unconditional. You love not because someone deserves it. Who are you to decide who deserves love? That is the ego playing judge. No, you love because you cannot help but love. You have become love. It is your fragrance. It is your essence. Even if nobody is there to receive it, it continues to radiate like perfume in an empty room. If you are beginning to feel this shift from begging for love to becoming love, this is a crucial moment. This is the moment you step out of the marketplace and into the temple. If you wish to support the spreading of this fragrance, to help us keep this digital temple open for all seekers, consider the Super Thanks button below. It is a way to pour your overflow back into the stream, or simply share this video. When you share wisdom, you grow in wisdom. Now listen, once you stop searching for completion in another, love flows naturally from within, and that love is not limited to romance. It is not limited to biology. It breaks all boundaries. It is in everything you touch. It is in everything you see. You look at a flower and there is love. Not, I like this flower, but a deep communion with the flower. You feel its life, its delicate nature. You are not separate from it. You look at a stranger and there is love. You don't know his name, you don't know his story, but you feel his humanity. You feel the same life throbbing in him that throbs in you. You close your eyes and the same energy that once sought another now dances within you. Love without an object. That is what I call prayer. Let me tell you a story, a beautiful story from the East. There was a woman named Mira. She was a queen. She had everything: wealth, palaces, servants, a husband who was a king. But she was not happy with the counterfeit coins of the world. She fell in love, but not with a man. She fell in love with the divine. She called him Krishna. She sang songs to Krishna day and night. She danced in the streets. She forgot she was a queen. She forgot her manners. She forgot her reputation. The world laughed at her madness. Her family was ashamed. They tried to poison her. They said, "You are a queen. Behave like one. You are wasting your life chasing a god who will never appear. You are singing to a statue." But she kept singing, she kept dancing, she kept loving. She was drunk on the divine. One day, a great scholar, a logical man, asked her, "Mira, why do you sing when he never answers? Why do you pour your heart out into the void?" And Mira laughed. Her laughter was like bells ringing in the temple. She said, "He has answered. He has answered through my song. He has answered through my dance. He has answered through this madness. I asked for love, and he did not give me a lover. He turned me into love." Do you see? That is the answer. The seeker dissolves, the lover dissolves. Only the love remains. When love ripens fully, it turns into prayer. Prayer, as you know it, is usually just begging in a holy voice, "God, give me a new car. God, cure my sickness. God, punish my enemies. God, make me happy." This is not prayer, this is complaining. This is treating God like a cosmic bellboy. You ring the bell and you expect him to bring you what you want. And if he doesn't bring it, you get angry. You lose faith. Real prayer has no words. Real prayer has no demands. Real prayer is a silent gratitude for being. You no longer ask, "Give me this, take away that." You only whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this heartbeat. Thank you for this ordinary miracle of being alive. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the pain that woke me up. Thank you for the joy that relaxed me." You bow not to a god in the sky sitting on a golden throne. That is a childish idea. You bow to existence itself. You bow to the tree. You bow to the bird. You bow to the stranger walking by. Every moment becomes sacred because you are no longer separate from it. Love becomes your religion, not because it worships someone, but because it celebrates everything. And yet, I must remind you again, this love cannot be forced. You cannot make yourself love by chanting affirmations. "I am love, I am love, I am love." You will only get a headache, and deep down you will know you are lying. Love appears when you stop searching. It arrives when there is space, when the noise of wanting fades into silence. You cannot find love because you are love. Can the ocean find water? It would be ridiculous for the ocean to go on a journey to find water. Where is the water? "I am thirsty." You are laughing at the ocean, but look in the mirror. You are doing the same thing. You are love, searching for love. You are wholeness, searching for healing. You can only remove what blocks its flow: fear, expectation, the idea that you are unworthy, the idea that you are a sinner. When you rest in this awareness, love becomes your natural state, like breathing. You don't think, "Should I inhale now? Is it the right time? Do I deserve this oxygen?" No, it happens by itself. In the same way, love becomes the rhythm of your being. It expresses itself through your eyes, your hands, your words, your silence. And when love becomes prayer, even your stillness blesses the world. When you no longer seek, love becomes the fragrance of your being. It needs no reason, no object, no recognition. It simply is. And when you begin to live this way, without striving, without guilt, without conflict, life itself becomes a prayer. Every breath becomes worship. Every silence becomes a song. Every moment becomes sacred. And in that sacredness, you are no longer trying to fix, improve, or achieve. You are simply here, alive, whole, overflowing. You have stopped searching for love, and in doing so, you have become it. There comes a moment, a rare and quiet moment, when you realize that what you have been calling your wound was never a wound at all. It was only a misunderstanding that you have been feeding for years, perhaps lifetimes. You begin to see that the pain was not in life itself, but in your resistance to it. It is a strange awakening, because at first it feels like a loss. The loss of your identity as the wounded one, the loss of your identity as the struggler, the loss of your identity as the victim, the loss of your identity as the healer. You have worn those masks for so long that when they fall, you almost feel naked, you feel vulnerable. Who am I if I am not my trauma? Who am I if I am not my story? But in that nakedness, something breathtakingly simple begins to dawn. There was never anything wrong, not yesterday, not today, not ever. The entire drama was a dream, and you were the dreamer who forgot he was dreaming. Freedom does not come when you fix the wound. It comes when you see that there was never a wound. Every scar you thought you had was drawn in water. Every story of failure was written on air. You were always untouched, always whole. But you were so busy identifying with the movements of the mind that you missed the stillness beneath. And now, as you begin to look with awareness instead of judgment, you see how existence has always been gentle with you, even in moments of pain. You have misunderstood pain. You have treated pain as an enemy, as a punishment, as a sign that you have failed. But I tell you, pain is not an enemy. Every fall was a push toward wakefulness. Every loss was an invitation to return home. Life is not a journey from imperfection to perfection. That is the ego's definition. The ego thinks linearly. I am here at point A, I must go to point B. But life is not linear. Life is circular. It is a dance of unfolding awareness. Flowers do not bloom because they are broken and need fixing. They bloom because it is in their nature to do so. The river doesn't rush toward the ocean because it feels incomplete. It flows because flow is its essence. In the same way, your life was never meant to be an endless repair project. You were meant to flow, to feel, to experience, to grow, not towards something higher, but deeper into what already is. Once you see this, the whole idea of improvement collapses. You stop trying to be more spiritual. You stop trying to be more loving. You stop trying to be more peaceful. And a strange miracle happens. When you stop trying, you become. You begin to see that even your imperfection is part of the perfection. This is a very delicate point, so listen closely. To live without a wound means to live without resistance. It means to let life happen as it happens, without demanding it to be different. The awakened being does not divide life into good and bad, success and failure, pain and pleasure. He simply allows everything to be as it is. He does not avoid suffering because he knows suffering is not an enemy but a teacher. He does not cling to happiness because he knows happiness too passes. He lives like the sky, open, unpossessive, vast enough to hold both sun and storm. And when you live this way, a strange peace arises. Not the peace of the graveyard, not a dead peace, but a living peace. Not the peace that comes from controlling the world, but the peace that comes from being one with it. The greatest fear of man is not pain, it is the loss of control. That is why you suffer. You suffer because you fight what is. You have a headache. The headache is just a sensation. It is unpleasant, yes. But then you say, I should not have a headache. Why me? I have so much work to do. This is unfair. Now you have created suffering. The headache was just pain. The resistance is the suffering. You have spent years trying to make life match your expectations. You have a blueprint in your mind. My husband should be like this. My job should be like this. My bank account should be like this. But life doesn't obey your blueprint. Life is wild. Life obeys its own rhythm. To live without a wound is to live without that inner fight. It is to drop the sword. It is to allow the river to carry you, not to struggle against its current. And in that surrender, there is immense freedom. You realize that even when you thought you were broken, life was whole. Even when you thought you were lost, you were being guided. Even your mistakes were part of the dance. When you truly see this, you begin to laugh. You laugh at the absurdity of it all. You spent your life running from imaginary monsters, fighting shadows on the wall. The monsters were never there. The wall itself was an illusion. And now that you have stopped running, you can finally rest. Rest doesn't mean inactivity. It doesn't mean you sit on the couch and do nothing. That is lethargy. That is tamas. Rest means being at ease with whatever comes. You move, you speak, you love, you act. But now, everything arises from stillness, not from need. You live not as a seeker, not as a survivor, but as silence in motion. When there is no wound, there is no healer and no healed. Only wholeness dancing as life. You don't see separate selves anymore. You see reflections of the same awareness wearing different faces. You look at a murderer and you see yourself in a deep sleep. You look at a saint and you see yourself awake, but the essence is the same. You can't hate because you can't find an other to hate. You can't envy because you can't find an other to envy. Everything is happening within the same consciousness. The sinner and the saint, the fool and the wise, the rich and the poor, all are waves in the same ocean. And once you see this, compassion flows without effort. Not the compassion that pities, oh, poor you, but the compassion that understands. You see that everyone is doing their best with the consciousness they have. You see that every cry for help, every act of greed, every moment of ignorance is a reflection of the same hunger, the hunger to return to wholeness. Knowing this, your heart becomes vast enough to contain all things. Let me tell you a story. I love this story because it speaks directly to your feeling of being flawed. It speaks to that part of you that feels useless, broken, unworthy. There was a water bearer in India. Every day he carried 2 large pots on a yoke across his shoulders. He would walk from the river to his master's house. One of the pots was perfect. It was shiny, new, and had no cracks. It always delivered a full portion of water. The other pot was old and cracked. It had a leak in its side. By the time the water bearer reached the master's house, the cracked pot was only half full. For 2 years, this went on daily. The perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments. It felt superior. Look at me, it thought. I am perfect. I fulfill my purpose perfectly. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection. It felt miserable that it could only do half of what it had been made to do. It felt guilty. I am making the water bearer work hard, but I am wasting his effort. Finally, one day by the river, the cracked pot spoke to the water bearer. I am ashamed of myself, it said, weeping. I want to apologize to you. The water bearer asked, Why? What are you ashamed of? The pot said, For these past 2 years I have been able to deliver only half my load, because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your master's house. Because of my flaws, you have to do all this work, and you don't get full value from your efforts. The water-bearer smiled. He looked at the pot with great love. He said, Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? The pot was confused. Flowers? The water-bearer continued, That's because I have always known about your flaw. So I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back from the river, you have watered them. For 2 years, I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way you are, there would not be this beauty to grace his house. Listen to the story with your heart. That cracked pot is you. You think your cracks are mistakes. You think your sensitivity, your past traumas, your weirdness, your inability to fit into the square holes of society. You think these are flaws, but existence says, without your cracks, there would be no beauty. Your so-called flaws are not mistakes. They are part of your purpose. They are how existence creates beauty through you. If you were a perfect plastic pot sealing everything in, you would water nothing. You would be efficient, yes, but you would be barren. It is through your cracks that your humanity leaks out. It is through your vulnerability that you connect with others. When you are perfect, you are unapproachable. Have you ever met a person who pretends to be perfect? They are like marble statues, cold, hard. You cannot connect with them. You cannot cry on their shoulder because they are too slippery. But a person who accepts their cracks, a person who says, yes, I have been hurt, yes, I sometimes get scared, yes, I don't know all the answers, such a person is warm. Such a person waters the flowers on the path. So I say to you, live without trying to be flawless. Live without trying to be invincible. Live without trying to be pure. The real purity is in being true, not perfect. Don't hide your cracks. Let light pass through them. Don't hide your past. Let it shine as your wisdom. Don't fear your emotions. They are proof that you are alive. The more you allow everything to be, the more divine it becomes. Society teaches you to be strong. Be a man. Don't show weakness. This is not strength, this is rigidity, and in nature, whatever is rigid dies. Whatever is flexible lives. Look at a storm. The giant oak tree, which stands rigid and proud, often snaps and falls. But the bamboo, which bends with the wind, which is hollow and humble, it survives. Your ego wants to be the oak tree. It wants to say, I am unshakable. But your soul wants to be the bamboo. I am empty, I move with the wind, I have no resistance. To live without a wound is to see that you are never separate from life, not even for a moment. When you feel pain, you are the pain. When you feel joy, you are the joy. There's no you standing apart from it, judging it. This is the state of the mystic. He is fluid. He is like water. He takes the shape of whatever container he is poured into, but he never loses his nature. You have been trying to be a rock. I am inviting you to become water. Water seeks the lowest place. It is humble. It does not try to climb to the top of the mountain. It flows down to the valley, and yet it is the most powerful force on earth. It carves canyons. It sustains life. Be like water. Stop fighting. Stop climbing. Flow. When you stop fighting, when you accept your cracks, a new quality enters your life. Life continues, ordinary, simple, quiet. and yet it feels utterly miraculous. You don't need miracles like walking on water or turning water into wine. Those are magic tricks for children. The real miracle is to walk on earth with a peaceful heart. The real miracle is to drink water with total gratitude. You wake up in the morning and breathe the same air, but now it feels sacred. You haven't changed the air, you have changed your breathing. You are breathing with awareness. You hear the same birds, but they sound like a prayer. Before, they were just noise. Oh, these birds are waking me up. Now they are a symphony. They are existence singing to you. You do the same small things, eat, walk, speak, sit, but now they are surrounded by a fragrance of peace. This is the Zen of life. Chop wood, carry water. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The action is the same, the consciousness is totally different. Before, you chopped wood with anger, with hurry, thinking about the future, thinking about how much money you would make. You were miserable. Now you chop wood and there is only chopping. The sound of the axe, the smell of the wood, the feeling of the muscles. It is a dance. When you stop trying to be perfect, existence reveals its perfection through you. You become effortless. You live not as someone trying to reach a destination, but as the destination itself. And this is where the journey of self-improvement truly ends. Not because you gave up, but because you woke up. You see that the person you were trying to improve was just a costume, and the person who was trying to improve it was just another costume. Behind all the costumes, there is just the light. If you are beginning to see this light, if you are beginning to appreciate your own cracks, then my work here is reaching you. To help us keep watering the flowers on this path, you can join our community through the membership button. It is a way to say, I am also a water bearer. But whether you join or not, just remember the pot. Remember that your imperfections are the source of your beauty. You no longer chase God, you breathe Him. You no longer seek love, you radiate it. You no longer ask for meaning, you are the meaning. And when you live this way, you finally understand what freedom truly means. Freedom is not political. It is not about voting rights or laws. Those are superficial freedoms. True freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It is about being at peace no matter what happens. It is not about escaping pain. It is about knowing that even pain has its place in the great unfolding. It is not about having more. It is about realizing you already have everything. The awakened being doesn't stand apart from life. He stands within it, humble, available, simple, yet luminous with understanding. Once you stop dividing yourself, once you stop believing in wounds, once you stop trying to fix what was never broken, you begin to live in harmony. Then even lust, anger, sorrow, or pain become instruments of awakening. Everything belongs, everything serves, everything is holy, and that is the sacredness of being. But I know what your mind is whispering right now. I can hear the objection rising in your throat. Osho, this sounds beautiful, to be like water, to accept the cracks. But what about my guilt? What about the terrible things I have done? What about the darkness that lives inside me? Surely that cannot be holy. And I say to you, that darkness is the holiest part of all, because it is the part that needs your love the most. You have been poisoned by the word guilt. For centuries, the priests and the politicians have used guilt as a weapon to enslave you. They know a simple secret. A guilty man is an obedient man. A guilty man is afraid. A guilty man is always looking for a savior to forgive him. So they invented the disease so they could sell you the cure. They told you that your natural instincts, your sex, your anger, your desire for pleasure are sins. They created a war inside you. They split you into two, the higher self, which tries to be a saint, and the lower self, which they call the animal, the sinner, the shadow. And you have been fighting this civil war for your entire life. One half of you fighting the other half. How can you be at peace when you are a battlefield? You try to forgive yourself. You go to workshops on self-forgiveness. You look in the mirror and say, I forgive you. But have you noticed? It doesn't work. The relief lasts for 5 minutes and then the guilt returns. Why? Because the very concept of forgiveness is a trap. To forgive yourself implies that you have judged yourself. To forgive implies that there is a sinner inside who needs mercy and a judge inside who grants mercy. You are maintaining the split. You are keeping the courtroom open. Who is the one judging? It is the ego pretending to be holy. Who is the one being judged? It is the ego pretending to be humble. It is a game of masks. I say, drop the word forgiveness, replace it with understanding. When you understand why you acted in a certain way, the guilt disappears. You realize that you acted out of unconsciousness. You acted out of pain. You acted out of fear. A man who is asleep cannot be blamed for what he does in his sleep. If you are sleepwalking and you knock over a vase, are you a criminal? No, you were asleep. You simply need to wake up. All your so-called sins were committed in a state of spiritual sleep. You were searching for happiness, but you were blind, so you hurt others, or you hurt yourself. It was a mistake, yes, but it was not a sin. It was an error of navigation, not a corruption of the soul. Once you see this, that you did the best you could with the consciousness you had at that moment, guilt evaporates. You don't need to forgive the sleepwalker. You just need to shake him gently and say, wake up, the sun has risen. To become whole, you must invite your shadow to tea. This is the hardest thing for the good person to do. You want to be light, you want to be kind, you want to be spiritual, so you push the bad parts into the basement. You lock up your anger, you chain up your lust, you gag your jealousy, and you think, now I am pure. You are not pure. You are a volcano waiting to explode. Whatever you repress grows in the dark. The anger you swallow today will become a cancer tomorrow. The lust you deny today will become a perversion tomorrow. The basement is full of monsters because you starved them. The awakened man has no basement. His house has no locked doors. He says to his anger, come in, sit with me, let me look at you. He says to his fear, welcome, tell me your message. When you bring the light of awareness to your shadow, a chemical change happens. This is the inner alchemy. If you simply watch your anger without judging it, without acting on it, just watching the fire, suddenly the heat transforms. The energy of anger is purified and becomes the energy of compassion. It is the same energy. Just as heat can burn your house or cook your food, the energy is not good or bad, it is neutral. If you repress it, it burns the house. If you watch it, it cooks the food. It nourishes you. Do not throw away your mud. Your mud is the raw material for your gold. If you are finding this alchemy difficult, if you are struggling to sit with your shadow, do not worry. It takes courage, and sometimes it takes a tribe. By clicking the join button, you stand with others who are also learning to turn their mud into gold. It is a small step for the hand, but a giant leap for the heart. But even alone, you can do this. The next time a dark emotion comes, do not distract yourself. Do not pick up your phone. Do not turn on the TV. Close your eyes. Say to the emotion, I am here. I am listening. You will be surprised. The monster, when looked at with love, turns into a mouse, and the mouse eventually turns into emptiness. You have been chasing a picture of a perfect life that does not exist. You think that one day you will be in a state of permanent bliss, with no problems, no difficult people, no flat tires, no taxes. And because this day never comes, you feel you are failing. I must be doing something wrong. My vibration must be low. My karma must be bad. Stop this nonsense. Life is not a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived. And mystery contains everything. The ocean has calm days and it has tsunamis. The ocean does not say, I am a bad ocean today because I have a tsunami. You are vast, you are spacious. Why are you so afraid of a little sadness? It is just a cloud passing through the sky. It adds depth to you. A sky without clouds is boring. A life without sadness has no depth. A man who has never cried cannot really laugh. His laughter will be shallow. The man who has known deep sorrow, who has walked through the valley of the shadow, when he laughs, his laughter comes from the very roots of his being. It shakes the earth. So welcome it all. Be a host to God. And God comes in many disguises. Sometimes he knocks on your door as joy, sometimes as pain, sometimes he comes as a lover, sometimes as a disease. If you say, I only welcome God when he is dressed in white, you will miss him most of the time. Open the door. Say, yes. This yes is the greatest prayer. Now the question arises, Osho, I can feel this peace when I listen to you. I can feel it when I sit in my room. But then I go out. I go to work. I deal with my boss. I deal with the traffic. And I lose it. How can I remain whole in this crazy world? This is the real test. It is easy to be a Buddha in the Himalayas. You sit in a cave. Nobody bothers you. The birds sing. It is easy to feel peaceful. But that peace is fragile. It is a hothouse flower. If you bring it out into the wind, it will die. I don't want you to have a fragile peace. I want you to have a peace that is like fire. It cannot be destroyed. It only burns brighter. So do not run away from the world. The marketplace is your testing ground. The marketplace is your ashram. Your annoying boss, he is your master. He is teaching you patience. He is pushing your buttons so you can see where you are still a machine. If he can make you angry, it means you are still a puppet. He holds the strings. He frowns and you are sad. He smiles and you are happy. What kind of freedom is this? You are a slave. Use the world as a mirror. When someone insults you, instead of reacting, look inside. Why does this hurt? Because I still want his approval. I still think I am this small image. The moment you see the string is cut. You can smile at the boss. You can see that he is also suffering. He is also shouting because he is in pain. And suddenly the workplace is no longer a battlefield. It is a school of awakening. You can carry your silence in the subway. Amidst the noise, the rushing, the madness, you can carry a cool pool of silence in your belly. And you will see people will react to you differently. They will not know why. They will just feel that around you they can relax. Around you the air is lighter. You become a therapeutic presence just by being there. This is the only way to change the world. You cannot change the world by shouting slogans or starting revolutions. That is just replacing one madness with another. You change the world by changing your vibration, by becoming a pool of silence in a desert of noise. You have sought advice your whole life. You ask, what should I do? The mind loves advice because advice implies there is a right way and a wrong way. It implies a formula, but I give you no formula because formulas are for dead things. Life is fluid. If I tell you always tell the truth, that is a formula. But what if a murderer asks you which way his victim went? If you tell the truth, you become part of the murder. In that moment, to lie is the greatest truth. So I cannot give you a map. I can only give you a compass, and that compass is awareness. In every moment, simply be aware. Don't ask what is right. Ask what is happening. If you are aware, your action will be right. It will be spontaneous. It will fit the moment. When you are hungry, you eat. When you're tired, you sleep. When you see someone falling, you catch them. You don't consult a book of ethics. Page 55. What to do when someone falls. By the time you read the page, the man has broken his nose. The moral man is slow. The conscious man is instant. You respond from your wholeness, not from your conditioning. We are moving toward the highest peak now. The ultimate freedom is not the freedom of choice. It is the freedom from choice. You think choice is freedom. I can choose A or B, but why do you have to choose? Because you are confused. If you know the way, do you choose? If you see the door, do you sit and contemplate, should I go through the wall or the door? No. You simply go through the door. When you are clear, when your eyes are open, choice disappears. You simply do what is needed. This is what I call choiceless awareness. You don't choose to be good, you see, and the good happens. You don't choose to be loving. You see the oneness, and love flows. The effort is gone. The struggle is gone. You are flowing with the Tao, with the Dharma, with the river of existence, and this flow carries you to the ocean. You don't have to swim, you just have to float. Have you ever tried to float in a river? If you struggle, if you panic, you sink. If you trust the water, if you let go, the water lifts you up. Existence wants to lift you up. It has been trying to carry you for millions of years. But you are holding on to the rocks on the bank. You are holding on to your problems, your identity, your goals. Let go of the rock. The river is going to the ocean anyway. Why struggle? Why try to swim upstream? Float. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the stars. Let the river take you. This letting go, this trust, is what I call healing. We are nearing the end of our time together, but not the end of your journey. In a moment, I will give you the final key, the key to unlock the door that has never been locked. But before that, I want to ask you a question. Who is hearing these words? Don't answer with your name. That is a label given by your parents. Don't answer with your job. That is how you make money. Don't answer with your body. That is just your house. Who is inside? Who is conscious of the voice speaking to you? Turn your attention backward. Look at the one who is looking. In that look, everything dissolves. The world disappears. The problems disappear. The I disappears. And only a vast, pure space remains. This space is not empty. It is full of light. It is full of bliss, Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. This is your home. You have never left it. You have only dreamed of leaving it. Every time you feel lost, every time the world becomes too heavy, just close your eyes for a second. Turn the light inward, return to the source. Dip yourself in this internal bath, and you will come out fresh, young, new. You don't need a baptism in a church. This is the real baptism. The baptism of your own consciousness. My message to you is simple. But to live it is a revolution. It requires you to drop everything you have been taught. It requires you to stand alone. But in that aloneness, you are all one. You are connected to the stars, to the trees, to the animals, to the mountains. You are no longer a fragment, you are the whole. This is the only healing you need, to know that you are the whole. If this message has watered the seeds of your soul, if you feel a stirring in your heart, then do not let it fade. The mind will try to cover it up with tomorrow's worries. Anchor this moment. Make a commitment to your own being. You can support this channel, yes. You can buy the books, yes. And we are grateful, for it allows the river to flow to others. A super thanks is a gesture that says, I value this truth. But the greatest support you can give is to live this. Be a light unto yourself. Don't follow me. Don't follow anyone. My finger is pointing to the moon. Don't bite my finger. Look at the moon. The moon is inside you. But how to stay in this moon? How to remain in this source? The mind will drag you out. The mind is a creature of habit. It has pulled you out of yourself for 40, 50, 60 years. It will not give up easily. It is like an old dog. It knows the way to the old house, even if the house is ruined. You must understand the mechanism that pulls you away from the now. That mechanism is time. The wound you feel, where is it? Look closely. Is the wound here in this very second? If you are silent, if you are just breathing, is there any problem right now? No. There is only breath. There is only the sensation of the body. There is only the sound of my voice. The wound is always in the past. It is a memory. My father hit me 20 years ago. My partner left me 5 years ago. Or the wound is in the future. It is a projection. What if I get sick? What if I end up alone? What if I never become enlightened? The mind swings like a pendulum between the past and the future. It never stays in the middle, but you are in the middle. Life is in the middle. To heal without healing means to step out of time. You are carrying the past like a boat on your head. There is a story of a man who needed to cross a river. He bought a boat. He crossed the river. He was so grateful to the boat that he thought, this boat saved my life. How can I leave it behind? It would be ungrateful. So he lifted the boat onto his head and carried it into the town. People laughed at him. You are mad. Put the boat down. He said, no, this boat is precious. It helped me. You are like that man. Your past helped you. Your traumas, your struggles, they brought you to this point. They served a purpose. They were the boat that crossed the river of ignorance. But now you are on the shore. Why are you still carrying the boat? But Osho, it is my history. It is my identity. Drop it. It is crushing you. You cannot dance with a boat on your head. You cannot fly with a boat on your head. The moment you drop the past, you become weightless. And in that weightlessness, the idea of healing becomes absurd. Healing implies restoring something old. I am talking about rebirth. I am talking about something entirely new. Don't patch up the old house. Get out of it. Build a temple under the open sky. One of the greatest symptoms of the wounded healer syndrome is seriousness. Have you noticed spiritual people? They look so serious, long faces. They don't laugh. They think laughter is profane. They think God is very serious business. If you go to a church, people look like they are at a funeral. If you go to an ashram, people walk around on tiptoes, afraid to disturb the cosmic vibration. This is not spirituality. This is constipation. I want to tell you, seriousness is a disease. It is the cancer of the soul. Life is not serious. Look at the trees. Are they serious? Look at the birds. Are they singing serious songs? They are playing. Existence is a leela, a divine play. If you cannot laugh, you cannot heal, because laughter breaks the ego. Laughter brings you down from your pedestal. When you laugh, really laugh, thinking stops. You cannot think and laugh at the same time. Try it. The moment laughter erupts, the mind stops. For a few seconds, you are in a state of no mind. You are a Buddha. So laugh at your wounds, laugh at your stupidity, laugh at your constant need to be perfect. Look at me, trying to be a saint. How funny. When you can laugh at yourself, you are free. The devil cannot catch a man who is laughing, because the devil takes himself very seriously. The ego takes itself very seriously. Make your life a celebration, not a calculation. If you feel this joy bubbling up, if you feel the corners of your mouth lifting, do not suppress it. And if you wish to help us spread this laughter to a world that is dying of seriousness, consider becoming a member of this channel. The join button is your invitation to a sangha that knows how to dance, or pick up one of our ebooks to read in the quiet moments between the laughter. As you drop the worldly ego, the need for money, status, approval, be very careful. A new enemy will arise, a more subtle enemy, the spiritual ego. This is the most dangerous ego of all. The worldly ego says, I have more money than you. It is easy to see. It is gross. The spiritual ego says, I am more humble than you. I am more meditative than you. I have dissolved my ego more than you. Do you see the trap? It is the same game, just played with rosary beads instead of gold coins. The spiritual ego loves to heal others. It loves to give advice. It loves to look down on the unawakened masses. Oh, look at these sleeping people. They are eating meat. They are watching television. I am a vegan yogi who meditates at 4 a.m. If you feel superior to anyone, you are not healed. You have just painted your prison walls white. True wholeness is ordinary. It is exceptionally ordinary. The Zen masters say, when hungry, eat. When tired, sleep. They don't say, when hungry, fast to purify your soul. They are simple. Don't try to be special. The desire to be special is the wound. Be a nobody. If you can be a nobody, if you can be just a hollow bamboo, existence can sing its song through you. But if you are somebody, even a spiritual somebody, you are blocked. You are full of yourself. And if you are full of yourself, God cannot enter. God needs space. So what should you do? The mind demands a method. Give me the steps, Osho. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I will give you a method that is not a method. I call it the art of doing nothing. In the West, they say, don't just sit there, do something. I say to you, don't just do something, sit there. Sit, just sit. But when I say sit, I don't mean just physically sitting. You can sit on a chair, but your mind is running a marathon. That is not sitting. Sitting means no destination, no goal. You are not sitting to get enlightened. You are not sitting to lower your blood pressure. You are not sitting to get a vision of Krishna or Jesus. You are sitting just to enjoy the sitting. Feel the weight of your body on the chair. Feel the air touching your skin. Listen to the traffic outside. Listen to the beating of your heart. Do not reject anything. If a thought comes, let it come. Say hello and let it go. Do not fight it. If you fight, you create tension. If you cling, you create obsession. Just watch. Like a man sitting by the side of the river, watching the water flow. He does not care if the water is clean or dirty. He does not care if there are leaves or logs floating. He just watches. In that watching, something profound settles in you. The dust settles, the mud settles. You realize, I am not the river, I am the one on the bank. This realization is the only healing, because the one on the bank is eternally safe. Why is it so hard to just sit? Why do you fidget? Why do you reach for your phone? Because you are terrified of emptiness. You have filled your life with noise, work, relationships, entertainment, problems, because deep down you suspect that without them you are nothing. And you are right, you are nothing. But you have misunderstood the word nothing. You think it means death. You think it means darkness. No thingness means no thing. It means you are not an object. You are a vast, infinite space. You are the capacity for life to happen. When you face this emptiness for the first time, panic arises. It feels like an abyss. You feel you are falling. I say, let yourself fall. Don't grab onto a branch. Don't grab onto a mantra. Don't grab onto a scripture. Fall. Falling into your own abyss is the greatest adventure, because there is no bottom. You will not hit the ground and break your bones. You will fall and fall and fall until you realize that you are the falling. You become weightless. You become the sky. In that emptiness, the wound cannot exist. A wound needs a solid body to stick to. A wound needs an ego to cling to. In the sky, there are no hooks for the wound to hang on. This is the ultimate healing, to become so empty that misery cannot find a home in you. And here is the beautiful paradox. When you are totally empty, you are totally full. When you are full of yourself, you are empty of love. When you are empty of yourself, you are full of love. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you empty yourself of the ego, the divine rushes in. It has to fill you. It is a natural law. And when the divine fills you, it overflows. You look at a tree and tears of gratitude come to your eyes. Why? Not because the tree is doing anything special, but because you are open, you are available. You hear a piece of music and you disappear into it. There is no listener, there is only the music. You hold the hand of your beloved and there are no longer two hands. There is a circle of energy. This is the life I am inviting you to, not a life of working on yourself. That is hard labor, that is a prison sentence, but a life of disappearing, a life of dissolving, like a sugar cube in tea. The sugar cube disappears, but it makes the whole tea sweet. Dissolve into existence, make life sweeter just by your presence. There is one last obstacle you must overcome, and that obstacle is me. Yes, the teacher, the guide. You love the teacher, you listen to his voice, you read his words, you feel safe with him. But if you cling to the teacher becomes a crutch. You will say, Osho knows. I don't need to know, I will just follow Osho. Then you remain a cripple. The true function of a master is not to hold your hand forever. It is to help you stand on your own 2 feet. I am not here to make you a follower. I am here to make you a master of yourself, a master of your own consciousness. Eventually, you must drop the teacher. You must drop the Buddha. There is a saying, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. It sounds violent, but it is the greatest compassion. It means, do not let anything stand between you and reality. Not even the image of the Buddha, not even the voice of Osho. You must drink the water yourself. My description of water will not quench your thirst. I can sing about the river. I can draw maps of the river. I can dance the dance of the river, but you must jump in. And when you jump in, you will see that I am not separate from you. You will see that the master is not a person. The master is a presence. and that presence is your own reflection. So we have traveled far together, from the illusion of the wound, through the trap of the mind, into the flowering of love, and now into the vastness of emptiness. Do not let these be just words. Do not let this be just another video you watch to pass the time. Let this be a turning point. Tonight, when you go to sleep, drop the day, drop the story, die to the past. And tomorrow morning, when you wake up, do not pick up the old script. Do not put on the old costume. Open your eyes as if you have just been born. Look at the sun as if for the first time. Touch your face as if for the first time. Start fresh, start whole. You are the emperor. Stop acting like the beggar. The kingdom is yours. It has always been yours. You were just sitting on the treasure chest, begging for pennies. Stand up, open the chest. And now, we must touch upon the deepest fear that drives this entire madness of self-improvement. We have spoken of the wound, we have spoken of the ego, we have spoken of the mind, but what lies beneath all of them? Why is the ego so terrified of being imperfect? Why is it so desperate to build a statue of itself that will last forever? Because of death. You are trying to fix yourself because you are trying to survive. You think, if I am perfect, I cannot be destroyed. If I am holy, death cannot touch me. If I am special, the universe will make an exception for me. All your striving, all your accumulation of virtue is just a defense against death. But I say to you, you cannot defeat death. You can only transcend it. And you transcend death not by becoming immortal in the future, but by becoming eternal in the now. The ego belongs to time. It has a birth date and it has a death date. The healer, the seeker, the doctor, the patient, they will all die. When your body goes to the grave, your neuroses will go with it. Your achievements will go with it. Your reputation will go with it. But there is something in you that was never born and will never die. Healing, in the ultimate sense, is finding that deathless element within you. There is an ancient fable that I love. It is the story of you. A lioness gave birth to a cub while jumping from one hill to another. In the jump, she died. The cub fell into a flock of sheep. The sheep raised the lion cub. He grew up believing he was a sheep. He ate grass. He bleated like a sheep. Ba ba. He was afraid of wolves. He ran with the herd. He was a lion. He had the body of a lion, the power of a lion, but his mind was the mind of a sheep. He felt miserable. Of course, a lion eating grass will always have stomach problems. A lion acting like a sheep will always feel depressed. He felt something was wrong with him. He thought, I am a very bad sheep. I am too big. My voice is weird. I don't fit in. So he tried to improve himself. He tried to bleat more softly. He tried to walk more gently. He went to the sheep therapist. The therapist said, you have an identity crisis. You must practice being more sheep-like. Repeat affirmations. I am a gentle sheep. I am a gentle sheep. One day, an old lion came out of the forest. He saw this miracle. A young lion running with the sheep, afraid of a butterfly. The old lion chased the young lion. The young lion was terrified. He cried, please don't eat me. I am just a poor sheep. The old lion laughed. He dragged the young lion to a lake. He forced him to look into the water. Look, the old lion roared. Look at my face and look at your face. We are the same. The young lion looked. He saw his reflection, and in that moment, a great roar exploded from his throat. It was not a bleat. It was the roar of kings. The sheep mind disappeared instantly. The grass-eating habits disappeared instantly. He did not have to go to a lion university for 4 years to learn how to be a lion. He just remembered, you are that lion. Society is the flock of sheep. They have taught you to be weak, obedient, fearful. They have taught you to eat grass, the dry grass of dogma, the dry grass of tradition, and you feel sick, you feel wrong. So you try to be a better sheep. I am the old lion. I have come to drag you to the lake. I am not here to teach you how to be a better sheep. I am here to show you your face. Look in the mirror of my words. You are not who you think you are. You are the roar of the universe. Why are you crawling when you have wings? Why are you begging when you are the emperor? This healing journey you are on, it is just the sheep trying to fix its weirdness. The moment you realize you are a lion, there is nothing to fix. The lion is perfect as a lion. The religions of the past have done a great harm. They divided life. They said the world is bad, spirit is good, the body is dirty, the soul is pure. So you have two kinds of people: the Zorba, the materialist. He eats, drinks, dances, enjoys the body, but he has no soul. He is hollow. The Buddha, the spiritualist. He meditates, sits in silence, but he rejects the world. He is dry. He is uncreative. I bring you a new synthesis. Zorba, the Buddha. I want you to be both. Be earthly. Love the earth. Love the food. Love the sex. Love the sun. Don't reject the marketplace. And at the same time, be the sky, be the witness, be the silence. Why choose? Why be half? When you are Zorba the Buddha, there is no conflict. You are whole. You can dance in the disco, and yet inside you are meditating. You can make money in the market, and yet inside you are a beggar with a begging bowl, possessing nothing. This is the ultimate health, to be fluid, to move between the outer and the inner without getting stuck. Most people get stuck. If they become spiritual, they become rigid. I cannot touch money. Money is evil. If they become materialist, they become rigid. I don't believe in meditation. That is nonsense. Be liquid. When you are with people, be with people completely. Laugh, joke, sing. When you are alone, be alone completely. Dissolve into the silence. Don't let the one disturb the other. This channel, this community we are building here is for the Zorba, the Buddhas of the world. It is not for the old, dry saints. It is for the rebels who want to enjoy life and awaken. If you are a Zorba, the Buddha, verify your presence. The super thanks button is for the Zorba, sharing wealth. And the meditation you do is for the Buddha, sharing silence. We must distinguish between two voices in your head. This is crucial for your daily life. There is the judge and there is the witness. They sound similar, but they are opposites. The judge says, you shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. You are bad. The witness says, you did that. Interesting. I see. The judge is emotional. The witness is neutral. The judge lives in the past. The witness lives in the present. The judge wants to punish. The witness wants to understand. Your self-improvement is usually driven by the judge. You are trying to improve yourself to appease the judge. Look, judge, I am meditating. Please don't beat me today. This is slavery. Fire the judge. He is not appointed by God. He is appointed by society. Empower the witness. When you make a mistake, you yell at your child, for example. The judge says, you are a terrible mother. You are damaging your child. Guilt, shame, contraction. The witness says, anger arose. The voice became loud. The child looks scared. Now compassion arises. I will hug the child. Do you see the difference? The witness leads to action, corrective action. The judge leads to paralysis. You feel so bad that you probably eat a cake to comfort yourself, and then the judge beats you for eating the cake. It is a vicious cycle. Step back into the witness. The witness is the scientist of the soul. He just observes the data. Cloudy today, sunny today, angry today, peaceful today. He does not take it personally. Let me redefine a word that has caused you much misery: sin. The original word for sin comes from archery. It means to miss the mark. It does not mean you are evil, it just means you missed the target. You were aiming for happiness, but you aimed poorly and you hit misery. If an archer misses the target, does he roll on the ground crying, "I'm a bad archer, I'm unworthy"? No. He simply adjusts his aim, he corrects his stance, he tries again. Treat your life like that. You got angry, you missed the mark. You wanted peace, but you created conflict. Okay, adjust your aim, breathe, watch, try again. Don't make it a moral drama. It is just a skill. Awareness is a skill. It takes practice, like archery. You will miss many times. You will fall asleep many times. It is okay. The only sin is to stop trying. The only sin is to believe you are incapable of hitting the mark. The mind lives on the drug called someday. Someday I will be happy. Someday when I retire. Someday when I meet my soulmate. Someday when I finish this course. This someday is the most poisonous word in the language. It destroys the today. You are sacrificing the real today for the unreal someday. You are like a man walking through a beautiful garden, but his eyes are fixed on the horizon. He tramples on the flowers. He doesn't smell the roses. He is just looking for the gate at the end of the garden. There is no gate. The garden goes on forever. Stop waiting. If you want to sing, sing now. In the shower, in the car. Don't wait until you are a good singer. If you want to love, love now. Don't wait for the perfect partner. Love the cat, love the tree, love the air. Start living as if you have already arrived. Fake it if you have to. Act as if. If I were already whole, how would I walk? Walk like that. If I were already peaceful, how would I breathe? Breathe like that. And a strange thing happens. The as if becomes the reality, because the body and mind follow your command. If you signal to your nervous system that you are safe, that you are whole, your nervous system begins to heal itself. The biology follows the consciousness. You don't heal to become whole. You realize you are whole, and the healing happens as a side effect. Finally, in this part of our journey, we must speak of aloneness. We seek relationships. We seek groups. We seek approval because we are afraid of being alone. We think aloneness means loneliness. They are not the same. Loneliness is when you miss the other. It is a negative state. You feel an empty hole. I am lonely. Aloneness is when you find yourself. It is a positive state. You feel a fullness. I am alone, like a peak of a mountain is alone. Healing brings you to aloneness. When you are healed, meaning when you are whole, you are comfortable in your own skin. You don't need the radio on constantly. You don't need to text someone every 5 minutes. You can sit with a cup of tea and be completely blissful. You are your own best friend. And only a person who is comfortable in their aloneness can truly love. Otherwise, you are just using the other person to cover up your loneliness. If you can be alone and happy, then your relationship will be a sharing of happiness, not a trading of misery. Test yourself. Can you spend 24 hours without your phone, without talking, just with yourself? If panic arises, That panic is your wound. Don't run from it. Stay with it. Let it burn. Behind that panic is the door to the divine. And so we arrive at the edge of the cliff. We have talked enough. Words are only fingers pointing at the moon, but they are not the moon. If you keep looking at the finger, you will miss the glory of the light. Now you must jump. The mind is afraid of jumping. The mind wants a bridge. It wants a parachute. It wants insurance. But into the dimension of truth, there are no bridges. There are no parachutes. You simply have to trust that the air will hold you. This is the final step of healing. Trust. Not trust in a God who will save you, but trust in life itself. Trust that you are part of this existence, and existence takes care of its own. Does the tree worry about tomorrow? Does the bird carry a suitcase? No, they trust. They are relaxed. Only man is tense. Only man is carrying insurance policies. And because of this lack of trust, you have disconnected yourself from the source. You are like a battery that has unplugged itself from the celestial power plant. Plug yourself back in. How? By dropping the fear. I want to give you a taste of this jumping right now. Wherever you are, just for a moment, stop the body, let it be like a statue. Stop the breath, not by holding it, but by just watching it so closely that it becomes very slow, very silent, and stop the mind. How to stop the mind? Do not fight it. Just say to it, hush, be quiet, like a mother speaking to a noisy child. In this stopping, notice what remains. The name is gone. The profession is gone. The history is gone. The trauma is gone. There is just a pure isness, a pure presence. It is vast, it is cool, it is empty, yet full. This is who you are. Every time you feel the wound throbbing, return to this stop. Return to this statue-like stillness. You don't need an hour of meditation. Just 30 seconds of total stopping is enough to break the momentum of the madness. Do this many times a day. When you are walking, stop inside. When you are eating, stop inside. Suddenly you will see that the world is a painting and you are the canvas. The painting changes. Sometimes it is a tragedy, sometimes a comedy, but the canvas remains white, untouched. There is an old Zen koan. A great master asks his disciple, a man puts a gosling, a baby goose, into a bottle. He feeds the goose through the neck of the bottle. The goose grows and grows. Now the goose is big and the bottle is small. The goose cannot get out without breaking the bottle or killing the goose. The man does not want to break the bottle and he does not want to kill the goose. What to do? The disciple thinks and thinks. He sweats. He meditates. Days pass. How to get the goose out? It is logically impossible. He comes back to the master and says, I cannot solve it. It is impossible. The master claps his hands loudly and shouts, Rico, the disciple's name. The disciple is shocked. He says, yes, master. The master says, see, the goose is out. Do you understand? The bottle is your mind. The goose is your consciousness. You think you are trapped in the mind. You think you are trapped in your neuroses, your depression, your anxiety. You are asking, how do I get out? Which technique should I use? I am clapping my hands. Wake up! You were never in the bottle. The idea that you are in the bottle is just a thought. You are the awareness that is watching the bottle. You are already out. You have always been out. There is no method to get out of a prison that does not exist. You only need to open your eyes. This is the great cosmic joke. You are the jailer and you are the prisoner. And you have the key in your pocket, but you are begging everyone else to open the door. Open the door. The door is not locked. It was never locked. But freedom is heavy. That is why people prefer slavery. When you are a slave to a guru, to a religion, to a psychological theory, you are not responsible. If things go wrong, you can blame the guru. You can blame the parents. They mess me up. But when you realize you are free, you are totally responsible. You are responsible for your joy. You are responsible for your misery. If you are miserable today, do not look for the cause outside. Do not say, my wife is in a bad mood. No, you have chosen to react with misery. You have chosen to pick up the thorn. You could have picked up the flower. The choice was yours. This responsibility is empowering. It means you are the creator of your own soul. You are the artist of your own life. Stop painting gray pictures. Stop painting tragedies. Dip your brush in the colors of celebration. Paint a masterpiece. You have the energy. You have the intelligence. Why are you wasting it on misery? Misery is cheap. Happiness is a luxury. It requires courage. Be courageous. You are not alone in this courage. Though the journey is solitary, there are fellow travelers. We are a caravan of mad people drunk on the divine. It is easier to dance when others are dancing. It is easier to be silent when others are silent. That is why we have created this space, this channel. It is not just a YouTube channel. It is a digital ashram, a meeting place for the lions. If you have felt the roar within you during this talk, then do not be a stranger. Subscribe to this caravan. It is free, but the connection is priceless. And if your heart overflows with gratitude, if you feel that you have received something that money cannot buy, then express that gratitude. The super thanks button is there not for commerce, but for communion. It's a way of saying, I am part of this flow, or step closer to the fire. Click the join button. Become a member of this inner circle. Let us walk together deeper into the forest of mystery. But remember, you do not join to follow me. You join to find yourself. I am just a friend on the path holding a lantern. Use my light until you find your own light. Then you can blow out my lantern. Before we part, I must tell you the final secret. What does a healed man look like? Does he float in the air? Does he glow with golden light? No, he looks just like you. He eats when he is hungry. He sleeps when he is tired. He laughs at jokes. He cries at sad movies. But there is a difference. He is not attached. He moves through the world like a bird flying through the sky. The bird leaves no footprints. He does not carry the past. Each moment he dies and is born again. He is unpredictable. You cannot put him in a box. He is fresh like the morning dew. This is my vision for you. Be ordinary, but with an extraordinary awareness. Be a shopkeeper, but be a meditative shopkeeper. Be a mother, but be an enlightened mother. Do not escape to the mountains. The mountains are empty enough. They don't need you. The world needs you. The world needs your silence. The world needs your laughter. The world needs your eyes that are no longer dusty with judgment. Go back to the marketplace. But this time, don't go as a beggar. Go as a master. Go and share your fragrance. We have come to the end of words. The mind may still have questions, but Osho, what about this? What about that? The mind will always have questions. Cut off the head of the mind with the sword of silence. Do not ask anymore. Experience, go out. Look at the sky. It is your sky. Touch the earth. It is your earth. Embrace yourself. You are the beloved you have been seeking for 1,000 lifetimes. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. There never will be. You are perfect just as you are. And you are getting more perfect every day. Take this truth into your heart. Let it settle there like a seed. Water it with your attention. And one day, I promise you, you will bloom. And the whole existence will celebrate your flowering. I leave you not with a doctrine, but with a love. I leave you not with a command, but with an invitation. The door is open, the goose is out, the sun has risen. Dance your way home.